Hey, hey, I'm doing it. There we go. Wow, yeah. What's this thing? Check this out. Woo! I obviously had a very interesting night of sleep last night. Look at this. Woo! Dreams. All right, so here, let me bump this up so I can see the comments. And the funny thing is I had the comments so big that I couldn't even hit the live button. So, but here I am. Rock you like a hurricane. Hey, hey, Kelly Smith, Gen X, Cheryl Siegel, people tuning in. Thank you. Lovely to see you guys. Lovely. What am I doing? I'm just getting myself settled. Got home last night. Luann, nice to see you. Again, doing the romper room portion of the show because I love it when people tune in. I mean, I could probably sit here and just talk to like an empty room, but it's so much more fun. Carol, nice to see you. It is so much more fun to talk to real people, and even if the talking is just the chat here on on YouTube, I will take that kind of communication because that kind of thing keeps us connected. And thank you for a bunch of the hearts and Nicole and Garrett. My goodness. Well, thank you for showing up, you guys. It really means a lot that you're up at it's 8 a.m. here Eastern time. But thank you very much for showing up. I'm thinking that you saw on the schedule that I was going to be here, the members only schedule type of thing. So awesome. Hey, and I see 15 people and 7 thumbs ups, the official thumbs up that are above my head. You can't see it probably. Um, hey, Barbara. Barbara is saying, I found you live on YouTube. Here I am. Not decluttering for an hour now, but you played in my mind as I worked this past week. Awesome. Good to know. And I love it. Garrett is saying YouTube notified me. So notice the things that are working. And we will get to do them. Now, I haven't done a YouTube live. I almost said TikTok. I haven't done a YouTube in the last many days, so it's been a while. So I'm a bit rusty myself, but I'm getting back kind of on the horse. Ooh, I love it. Laura Voorhees, nice to see you. Yay. Oh, good to know. Leslie says, and maybe this will help you help if you're interested. Leslie says, I've listened to sessions I missed and I gave them the thumbs up. It works for recordings too. Awesome. And I love that YouTube has notified me. So good to know how you can find out about the lives. So wonderful stuff. Garrett, thank you for saying I've missed you. I've kind of missed you guys too. I say kind of because it'd be a disservice to the trip we just had to say that I was pining away for YouTube. But I honestly, truly enjoy being at home. I love traveling. Do not get me wrong. You know how much I travel. And but I also love being home. I also love being in my own little routine and doing my YouTube lives and doing my coaching with my people and all sorts of things like that. So I'm glad to be back. We won't be traveling yet for another, I don't know, 10 days. We have a bunch of little things coming up because we had some vouchers we had to use before they expired. That's the reason we're doing that stuff. Um, ooh, I love it. Cheryl is sharing some good news, as is Laura Voorhees. So Cheryl says, snow day yesterday. So decluttered and cleaned my art room. Awesome. I am such a fan of a snow day. I cannot even tell you. It is crazy. So it is snowing out there right now. Or it was snowing. There is snow, there's a wee bit of snow on the ground. And yet it's going to be 53 here today. So I think it's all going to melt. Laura says, I worked 4 hours yesterday decluttering my son's room so he has enough space to do some decluttering of his own now. Cool. Laura, I hope you also showed him the skills so you both can, you don't have to declutter for somebody, they can do it themselves. Hey, this is funny, let's all thrive. That sure does sound like Cat Roby to me. So she says, hey, yo, SBB faux show, writing a list of items from all the generations I can sell at a new merchant booth I want to try. Midtown Mercantile Mall. What state and where is that, Cat Roby? Put it in the comments and people come and check it out. That one persona, good morning. I hope you had the best time on your trip. I did. Oh, let's all thrive. Oh, Tucson. Okay. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm in the wrong profile. I love it. That's happened to me too. When I went to go do a YouTube live last week, it said, "You're not eligible to go live." And I'm freaking out, going, "What the heck?" I realized I was signed in under my like regular thing. It's fine. Good morning, Shannon. I love it. And yeah, that one persona I had a really we are surprised at how much we crammed into this very short trip we had. Um, but I will offer to you, just kind of as a life lesson, that we had some plans, but other things came up too, and we did our best to say yes to the things that came up unexpectedly, and it made me a little tired. I'm not going to lie. I was tired, but it was so worth it because some of those experiences probably we won't have the opportunity to do it again. So there were a couple of times where I said, I know I'm tired, but I'm going to do this now. And I'm really glad we did because we'll have the memories of doing that and the tiredness will fade. All right, Pop Tart Mama, love it. My 12-year-old and her ADHD just cannot seem to declutter on her own. I will help, and then she just can't stay on top of it. Then her room just gets cluttered again. Lots of surface clutter. Any tips? Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Snow day for Barbara. Okay, so Pop Tart Mama and ADHD daughter. One of the things that might be helpful, and I've heard this from other people with ADHD, and I've done this for people themselves, is kind of do a hybrid of what you're doing now. So right now, it seems to me, and I'm just looking at the comments, I will help. Then she just can't stay on top of it. So that's staying on top of it. I think you all know, and maybe I haven't said this in a while, but decluttering, living the decluttered life. That sounds so cheesy, but living a life where the clutter isn't really as big a deal is about two things. One is that initial kind of decluttering of the accumulated clutter. You know, like you've been accumulating things for years, and so you've got a giant pile of clutter that you're knocking down. And that's usually what we think of when we're decluttering. But the other most important part that's equally, if not more so important, is stopping the habit of allowing it to get to the pile and starting the habit of the more frequent, tiny um, decluttering. So think about that yourself. And I hear this again from a lot of people that I work with ADHD, or maybe they don't, but this is what they say is just that habit of, I'm not going to do that now because fill in the blank, I'll do it later. But then when later comes, they don't do it. And that's when the pile starts to pile up again. So, what I would do, Pop Tart Mama, I think this would be interesting. Um, there we go. Okay. So, Pop Tart Mama, and actually Laura Voorhees. Ooh, lots of comments here. Um, is I would do one thing first, which would be your way of helping her, could be instead of doing it with your hands, I would go into the room with her at a time that feels good for the both of you. Like make a plan and keep the plan and make it fun. And like sit with her, body doubling, and explain to her how to do it while she's doing it. You know, being nice about it, not kind of sitting there like bossing them around, but helping her remain focused. And also maybe setting that kind of timer for 20 minutes and then leaving. Um, if your daughter has ADHD, and I see Laura Voorhees, and I'm looking at this too, there's a lot of good comments in the comment section right now. Um, and Laura Voorhees is saying, my adult son has similar struggles. I tried to discuss small time chunks, and there is some resistance to that. So, both of you, I would just get really curious because the way that we have been talking about decluttering, quite often is you've got a thought in your head underneath your hair that is all sticking out. You've got a thought in your head that makes you feel a feeling in your heart that makes you either want to move your hands and do something or not move your hands and not do something. So with both your daughter and your son, I would get curious with them. I would be like, "Hey, I'm just curious. What's the resistance? Like what's the thought that you have?" And the I think the ADHD brain is either wired for, and this is me just kind of making this up, is either wired for all or nothing thinking, or the all or nothing habit has been when they've seen results. So there may be a resistance to doing something different. So just get curious with that. But I would say body doubling, teaching them how to do it themselves, and doing that thing. Maybe you also do some decluttering at the same time in another room, right? You play a game where I'm going to declutter for 20 minutes in this room. You will declutter in your room in that room. You know what I mean? So don't give up, but get curious and find out. I would be really curious as to why they don't want to do it. And then when you get curious about that specific sentence they say from their head, then you can start there. Okay. Hope that helps. Kim K, morning from Boston. Looks like it's raining. Yep. Okay. Um, all right. There's some good stuff. Kat Roby is saying, and I'll just kind of rattle these off, okay? Because there's quite a few. And I love it. We've got 25 people here. We've got 17 little thumbs ups. Every little bit helps. Okay. Barbara's got a snow day. Barbara's got a snow day. Okay. Kat is saying to Laura, so helpful to have a regular routine of small chunks, either the time or the space. Yes, getting specific with what you do. How about in this next 20 minutes, all you focus on is the top of your bureau, something like that. Okay, yeah. Laura says, I am discovering that he and I have similar issues. We wait until our time and energy coincide and it becomes procrastination. Okay, so notice how either you probably are both wired similarly, but also your habits. He has probably maybe learned that from you, and you probably learned it from somebody else. What I will say is instead of waiting for your time and energy to align, is to learn how to create the energy. Learn how to create the energy to make it seem doable. And I can do this. So that to me would be chunking down the task and revving up your reasons for doing it, of how good it's going to feel when you're doing it. Okay. Um, and Mod Pugs is saying, and I love this, there is a light, and Mod Pugs, nice to see you. I believe, is that Kara? Everybody's signing in their alternate universes. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. My cluttered youngest is now 23, and my best advice is to model behavior and pick your battles. Yeah, yeah, and I love that. Modeling behavior. That will show them what to do. That one persona is jumping right in. Our goal is to clean out our basement this spring. Love it, because you guys, it's already mid-February. I want to chunk it down. Hubby wants to pull everything out and then you declutter when putting it back over one weekend. Okay, that one persona. Tips on making a hybrid plan. Yes, yes. First of all, please let him know that as a professional, as a true professional, and somebody who's done this before, I highly do not recommend the pulling it all out and then making decisions. What I recommend, so this would be the hybrid plan, would be making the decisions as you are pulling things out. Don't pull out and then categorize. I would start with a category because that's a chunk. Okay. Pull out a category out, like, and this is me just picturing where my garage is, but you probably have like a driveway, is pulling out all of one category into the driveway, making that decision of what stays and what goes, and then separating out what stays and what goes, and then putting back in, and then making room for what goes back in. It also probably won't take a whole weekend. It might, but start with that approach, because if you put everything out, you're going to be exhausted physically and you're going to get overwhelmed by it. But if you chunk it down into a certain category and just pull those things out and make a decision, then you will have gotten the pulling out part that he wants of something, and then the chunking down that you want. I would highly recommend trying that. Okay. Also, maybe encourage him to watch a few of the videos, and any of the questions that he has, I'm happy to answer. Okay. So like tune in together to a YouTube live. And in case there's anybody new here, just it may be infrequent, but somebody may be just scrolling by lives on YouTube. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach, and my coaching is called Destination Decluttered. Decluttered because living a decluttered life is so much freaking easier than being cluttered. Looks better, functions better, feels better, all the betters. And a destination declutter because I travel a lot and trying to get my hands better. And driving on a road trip is a very good analogy for a lot of what we do. Okay, notice when I said chunking it down, when you're on a road trip, you don't just immediately go all the way to the place first, right? Okay. Oh, I love it. Kat Roby is getting a good idea for chunking it down. Do the decluttering for the length of a favorite song. Music. makes the people stay together. So notice that music has a beginning, a song has a beginning and an end. So you could use that, or a playlist of 6 songs, something like that. Okay. Um, okay, it is. Okay, I love it. Okay, oh, all sorts of good stuff. Bunch of chatty Cathys. I love it. This is so cool. Okay. Um, hey, Ellen. Yes, good to see you. Go Birds. Exactly. They've got a parade here in town tomorrow. It was funny to be out of town watching. We didn't watch the game. We watched people watching the game, but it was fun. All right. Okay. Pop Tart Mama again. Yes, and here's the thing. I wouldn't say a competition of decluttering. Let me be very clear. I want to say mutual. Competition is going to make one person feel like the winner and one person feel like the loser, and you do not want your daughter to feel like a loser. Look what I did. I did it well. You did it crappy. No, no, no. This is not a competition. This is a collaboration. You say, "Hey, this is what I like. What did you get done? I'm so glad with what you get done." But I would really, just with curiosity, wait. She says she resists and hates picking up her space. Now, maybe what I would do is kind of like ask her, really pump up the resource. If she's feeling lousy, what does she not like about it? And how good would it be? What's in it for her? What's in it for her? What's in it for you? Ask yourself what you do to get yourself motivated to declutter. Okay. And what I would offer is, if you're doing it because you have to do it, you're staying in kind of like you're starting in lack. Like, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. Mwah. But if there's a reason that gets you a feeling or a result you want, you know, so find out, what are the parts of her room that bug her? Does it look good to her? Look, function, and feel. Does it look good to her? If not, it would look better to her. Can she find her stuff easily when she's getting ready for school or something? How does she feel in that room? Does she feel calm? Does she feel distracted? Really pump up the resource. This is what we do. We get in the mode of being willing to do it. And before we even start it, tell her it's like a road trip. Use the road trip analogy, you know, get excited about where you're going, and that's going to put some gas in your tank. Help create that vision in her mind. Do it yourself. If she can't see why it would be beneficial to her, she may not do it. Also, she doesn't have a good way of decluttering now. So the way she's been doing it has not been long lasting. So a wonderful opportunity to just reset and to be like, okay, what we've been doing isn't working, hasn't worked. Let's try something different. Okay. And yes, Laura rightly so is identifying the all or nothing. Okay. So instead of all or nothing, we've got a piece of paper folded in the half. Okay. What I want to say is, instead of all or nothing, experiment with replacing that with chunking it down and incrementally better. Okay. Because all or nothing tends to get you a lot of nothing a lot of the times. Okay. Good morning, Penny Myers. Nice to see you. Thank you. I saw you putting in some comments while I was there. Yes, and yes, for ADHD folks, the thought in your brain leads to another thought and another, all in 5 minutes. Oh, honey, you think I do not know about this? You have no idea what goes underneath this hair. I get that. I would actually have your daughter, or even yourself. This is why I say, you've got a thought in your head that makes you feel a feeling in your heart, and then you're going to do something with your hand. What I would do to slow down your brain, besides slowing down, calming down, chunking down, breathing down, all that, is to write it down. To write down the things you're going to do, to write down your destination, because writing down, your body is slower than your brain. But if you write down these things, your body and your brain are working together, not in competition, and your body will slow down your brain enough so you can write these things down. That will produce a calming effect and get you into, instead of spinning your wheels and revving your engine, you can slow down enough to get into gear. Okay. Cat is also, I love this, you guys, such good stuff. I'll just read your comments, and I don't have to add any of my commentary, but we're all here to help, you know? Yeah. Laura says, I suggested 5 minutes, and he even pressed against that. Did you say why? This is why. What's the big deal with 5 minutes? I bet there is a fear of not getting enough done and feeling like a failure because 5 minutes isn't enough and it's not worth it. That you have to do it all or nothing. So do not fear the reaper. Do 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 do. More cowbell. Do not fear the reaper, and do not fear the incremental progress. And the thing that I will share with all y'all, are for yourself and for anybody who is teaching somebody else of a younger generation or anybody for this, is that the incremental way of showing up and doing things is a wonderful method of learning how to do so many things. Writing a paper, you're not just going to sit down and do all your research and then write all your rough draft and write it all in one night, but doing a little bit at a time is more sustainable, more organic, and it's better for your nervous system. And it's just a really good way of doing it. It's like planting a garden. It's like planting a garden. Okay. Um, all right. So Barbara is asking how to do a thumbs up. It's different on my side. I can't thumbs up me, but somebody might help Barbara with that. Evangelita Coco Brown is saying, what if you have chronic pain and you want to declutter? This is what I offer to you. You have a thought in your head of how you want your home to look. You have a thought in your head of how you want your home to function. And you have a thought in your head of how you want your home to feel. Look, function, feel. I like to do them in that order. You don't have to, but it's just the way I think it makes sense because it's like surface stored sentimental. What I would recommend is if the physical act of decluttering is not good for you because you're in pain, the wonderful thing is the decluttering is not the physical act. The physical act of decluttering is the last part of the process, really. The first part is thinking what you want it to do. How does that way make you feel? And then writing it down. Now, if your hand hurts and you can't write it down because of chronic pain, you can text it to yourself and create a document. So you have a map, you have a road map to go to. And then here's the wonderful thing, and this just isn't for the people with chronic pain. Do not do this alone. If it's all your stuff, if it's just you and it's all your stuff, even if it isn't, you can always get help. I highly recommend not the all or nothing of I need to do it all myself. Get some help. This can be a friend, this can be a relative, this can be a neighbor, this can be somebody you hire. Get somebody to help with the physical aspect of it. They might be able to help with you making decisions. The decisions are really up to you. But once you have made a decision, and this comes from me, I will go back decades to me being the bossy older sister, is I had a vision of what I wanted that basement to look like. And I bossed my sisters around and I told them what to do because I had a vision of what it was going to look like. And they didn't really care. They didn't want to make the decisions. They wanted to help. Well, they don't know if they wanted to help me. This is not the best analogy. But your friends, let's move to the current day. The friends and the people who want to help you because they know that the clutter is upsetting you and you're in a chronic pain situation. They want to help. They don't know how. This is how you can tell them some specific things to help with your clutter. But the thing that's up to you and up to all of us is to make that decision up here and in here to decide. You have an idea of what if it looked this way? How does that feel? Ooh, I like that feeling. Okay, write it down. What if I got rid I don't like that idea. Okay, don't do the stuff that doesn't feel good. Okay. Um, all right. Here we go. I love it. I love it. Good stuff. Um, yes, and share how good you feel when you've accomplished stuff. I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh, there's so many things I'm missing right here. And I love that you guys are getting to know each other. This is so important because you're not alone. We're not alone. We are a cool group of people right now. And frankly, I think these YouTube lives are fun because it's a nice handful of quality people. I'm all about quality. I love it. Um, and yeah, Laura says, I wonder what ideas he would come up with. Maybe he needs the ownership. You could offer ideas, a song, a timer, incentives, you know? And then Mod Pugs is saying to Evangelita, and I will just uh, read these things for the people that are walking around and puttering and decluttering. Maybe you've got me on the big screen on your TV and you're walking around and decluttering your house. Feel free to do that right now. I will be on here until 9 o'clock Eastern, which is in about 34 minutes. So you could get some good stuff done. Me, between now and 9 o'clock is a chunk of time, right? You could even split that in half and declutter for half and hang out for half. Okay, so Mod Pugs is telling Evangelina a timer is your friend. I have chronic pain and have managed to replant my front yard after a septic replacement and declutter and still my house over the last year, all using timers. Yes, to say I'll do it for a little bit of time and stop. Again, the chunking it down is really so the way to go with so many things, not just the decluttering, but planting a garden, you know, chipping away, you know. Laura Voorhees is saying, I've been chipping away at the basement for a while now, but it is getting better. Yes, and I think the frustration with um, some of the resistance to chunking it down is that you don't get that immediate dopamine rush of ta-da, looks better, HGTV, reveal. No, it's more subtle. It's like weight loss. When you're doing it incrementally, you don't see it immediately. You see like a little point 0.5 of a pound in a week, and you're like, well, that didn't really work. So you give up. What it is, it helps teach you patience too and sustainability to show up and show up and show up and show up. And the cool thing is about that is that you also train yourself to do little bits at a time so you don't need to really rev yourself up. And you also don't feel as bad when you are procrastinating because you know when you're procrastinating because you have the thoughts going through your head. Oh, I got to do it. Oh, I got to do that. I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. I got every day of the week that you're not doing it, I got to do that. And that's draining itself. How about just freaking starting it and doing it? You know, experiment with it. Show your, I mean, even here's a fun thing. You could use it as an experiment and have your ADHD people, including yourself, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. How did it not work? Because the funny thing is that we are used to measuring the big dramatic things, but the small things are where the things matter. I say this because if he's like, no, see, I did 5 minutes, nothing's different. You could point out, and it's like, well, focus on one area, just your thing. I think the thing is that when you start to do it, you get frustrated because you don't know where things are. You don't know if you want to keep things or not. There's a lot of subtleties in it. You know, if I were sitting in the room with them, I'd be curious all over. I'd be patient and curious and non judgmental and see where their gaps in knowledge are, see what they're struggling with. Okay. Um, there we go. Laura says, my son loves a Broadway show music. I bet a song or a soundtrack would make good measure for him. Now, here's a funny thing. You say a soundtrack, I immediately go to listening to Broadway musicals on a record. So I'm like, yes, half of the record, like side one of Oliver. Oliver, Oliver, never before has a boy wanted more, right? Yes, very cool. Yes. Now I love it. Yeah, I love that people are sharing their ADHD things. Uh-huh. Yeah, learning ADHD regulation. Yep. And we're all learning. Regulating, not too much, not too little, just right. Regulations. It's not no regulations and it's not over regulating, just like in the country. Regulations keep things regular, just like Metamucil. I crack up. There we go. Wendy LCM is offering. I'm going to rock this. My house was a cluttered mess. Past tense, was a cluttered mess. I was burning myself out, cleaning and decluttering. Notice, burning yourself out. That's not good. Emptying your tank. After I realized I needed and deserved breaking, chunking, I was able to celebrate my victories. Yeah, every victory is worth celebrating. And I am telling you, this is going to be so important in the next 4 years because we are not going to get those ta-da wins. Like right now, somebody is crashing and burning, and we're going to have to rebuild incrementally. So I say this to you, get used to getting psyched about the small wins. If you think the small wins don't matter and you're waiting for a big one, you're going to feel bummed. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why my husband and I had such a good time that when we were traveling is that we were focused on every little good thing. And there were plenty of crappy moments. I was tired. I was cranky. I can be a backseat driver even when I'm in the passenger seat in real life. Um, and so there were times like that, but focusing on the good stuff. And there were plenty of good things to focus on. And when you focus on the good, you make more of it. You go out and you take action to create more of it. If you don't think if there's anything good, you're going to stop trying. Okay. Um, Now, I love this. I was just reading that one persona. This is interesting. I reframe the timer thoughts. Instead of racing the clock, remember, beat the clock? Tick, 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 tick. I think I have an hour. Let me see what I can get done. And set a small goal, one box. Anything else is a bonus. I love that idea. I love that idea. I love the idea of chunking it down. I love the idea of not racing. This is not a race. This isn't even a marathon because marathons are races. And do you remember? This is so funny. Even though I go to the Boston Marathon, the theme song to Marathon Mascara from the 1980s. Marathon looks just put on until you take it off. Don't ask me why. Talk about a cluttered head, but I think it's fun. Look, I just found, hey everybody, look what I just found while I was decluttering. It's the jingle for Marathon Mascara that I remember putting on when I went roller skating at the roller rink with my cousin Kim. Uh, but I digress. um, Notice the approaching something differently, putting a different frame on something. I used to work in a frame store. I know a lot about that. A new frame can change how you feel about something. So instead of racing the clock, I move at a pace that feels good to you. Let's see what I can do. And setting a small goal and getting to accomplish it is a feeling of accomplishment. You say you're going to do 100 things and you only do 50, you feel like crap because you didn't do the other 50. You set a goal of 25 and you do 50, it's the same amount you did, but you're going to feel different because everything is above it. It's just a way of thinking of it, you know? So chunking it down, just experiment with it. And here's the wonderful thing I want to say. We're talking about how to help other people with the decluttering and trying these things, but is your money where your mouth is? Was that Pepsodent? I know that Ultra Bright gives your mouth sex appeal. I swear to God, they said sex. Did they say sex appeal? I'll have to look on the interwebs. Before the advent of the internet, it would be in my head, but now I can just go look on another part of YouTube to find out that. But are you putting your money where your mouth is? Are you modeling the behavior of chunking it down? Are you modeling the behavior of celebrating little wins? Are you modeling the behavior, and not just in decluttering, but in other areas of your life? Because if people see, I have shown that people watch what you do. Like that whole don't do what I say. What is it? Don't do what I say, not as I do. How about doing what you do? You know? Ah. Oh, so this is funny. So just chunking it down, and this is me also being my own version of ADHD, WHDH, WADHD. I crack myself up. Kat Roby is asking the Greg. So there's a guy on here, Gregisms. He was one of the first people I think I saw on YouTube, on TikTok, and he's also on YouTube. And he is a teacher in New Orleans. And he is just very funny, and he tells the stories of the kids, and he sounds like a sassy teacher. I think he might teach drama, and he will go off on a tangent. And instead of saying, but I digress, he has this little catchphrase which says, but I digress. And here's a funny thing. That is one of probably my my own ADHD tells, is that we think it's funny to talk in these things, but it's also a bit of a connection that if you know Greg and I know Greg, you can be like, oh, I know what you're talking about. It can be a bit of a connection. I don't mean it to be like if you know, you know. I think those things are kind of mean because it excludes some people. So I love to share what is going through my head, but you should check him out. He's wicked funny. Okay. Yes, I love Greg. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Ah, so yes, Greg is the one that tells fab stories of the kids. Lol out the mouths of babes. Yes, there we go. Yes, if somebody can find the link to Greg and put it in the chat, Kat Roby would love to see it. So do that. Like, let's share the good stuff. Um, okay. Now this is good. Wendy is offering because she's saying my son and daughter-in-law have helped me. Now they go to church and use a couple of hours on Sundays to tidy up an area of their home so they don't end up like me before. Yeah, because that's how you do it, is a little bit at a time. Now, maybe they just wait until Sunday and do it. I like living every day in a less cluttered house. So I like to do a little bit at a time every day. It doesn't take that much. But I do also sometimes have things that I don't deal with for a few days. It's okay. But what we do is, so we start with, many times, like you and I are probably, we are all meeting right now at a time in your life where you have probably collected a lot of stuff and it is piled up. It is piled up over decades, over years, over months, however. And it feels so overwhelming that you're like, I need to do something about this. Right. So usually we focus on knocking down that pile of accumulated clutter, the giant, the garage, the basement, the things that's been the catch all for years, the big pile, and chunking it down. But if you don't learn how to live decluttered, you're just going to pile stuff up again. So, what I offer to you is the chunking down, the doing a little bit each day, the going out into the garage and seeing, the going down the basement. Our one tends to be, we throw the boxes from when we get stuff delivered down the floor, down the stairs to the cellar, and then kick them around the corner. And then around the corner where you don't see it often starts to pile up. So, we have to more frequently chunk down the boxes. Now, we're going to do that this week because we have barely any recycling because we weren't home. So chunking it down, setting aside a certain amount of time, maybe on the weekends. But to me, I love my weekends. I love to live every day like a weekend. So if I do a little bit at a time, a little bit here, a little bit there, when the weekends come, there's like nothing to do. And then we go out and have fun. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I didn't set my stop it phone. All right. Okay. I love it. Our idea for ADHD 12-year-old. As a teacher, I use an app, random name picker. Instead of a class with student names, I made one called Destination Decluttered. I listed tasks versus names. Yes, make it fun. Here's a fun thing that is not my idea. I know I saw it from somebody else when I was still on TikTok. I don't know who it was, but also a client of mine has talked about this. Okay. Is Instead of making a list, checking it twice. Lists can be overwhelming. Anything hierarchical, top to bottom, it can be long. List. How about this? And I'm going to move aside so you can see like a visual. See this right here? Pretend this is, hold on, I got to get my hands and my brain. BINGO. Make a bingo list. Make a bingo card. And then put the things that you want to do, have to do on that. Nice little chunks. Empty dishwasher. Put dirty clothes in washing machine. Bring stuff down the basement and put away. Different things like that. Mix it up so you can play a game that you can choose what you're doing. A list is a great start, but you don't have to keep it in list form. You can do different things with it. I like to chunk things down and put it on my calendar. That works for me. But if a list makes you overwhelmed, the list is really just your list of the thoughts in your head of the things that if you got done, your home would look and feel and function better. Also, chunk down your lists into different rooms, you know? So please, let's experiment. Let's play. Let's find a way to get these things feeling doable and not so arduous as they may have done before because you simply were using a different method of decluttering that made it feel overwhelming, that made it feel unfun. Ask yourself what makes it fun for you. Model the behavior of using music as a measurement tool. Today, maybe this week is the week. Well, it's already Thursday. Oh my God, it's already Thursday. Regardless, you know, Maybe how about this? I'm gonna weave this in here because this Saturday is the last um, decluttering party that we have for February. Because then I go away next weekend, and the following weekend is going to be March already. You guys, we're already going to be starting to do the spring cleaning. Let's get a jump on it. Okay. Yeah. So here's this. Yes. And so please, a bingo card I could do. Yeah. Pop Tart Mama saying, oh my God, I could do a bingo card for each kid each week. And those who get bingo get a reward on the weekend. Yeah. And I will offer this. A list can be, do not get me, if you make one master list, and I don't like that word, I'm trying to figure out, if you have one main list of everything that's in your head, man, is that going to be long? It's long. Where's my other hand? There we go. It's going to be like you wrote it on toilet paper. No, no, chunk down that list. Have your main list as a resource to draw from. Your main list is like opening up your pantry and feeling like you need to cook all the meals with all those ingredients at one. No, you have that list to make it easier for you because you've already told yourself, if I do this action, I'm going to feel better. If this action, when this action is done, I'm going to feel better. So please do not write down your master list, your main list, but use it as a resource. Do not feel like, oh, I have to do all that stuff. Write it down. I don't want to say tuck it away, but put it off to the side. And when you have some time to declutter, that's when you go to that list and you pick some things that ideally meet the two criteria. They're things that you can do in the time that you have with the energy you have. So use that list, but don't use that as your grocery list. Can you imagine your grocery list being all the things that you have ever eaten in your life that you like to eat? And you go to the grocery store with that list? No, you're going to write down the few things that you need to fill in the blanks. Okay. Okay, cool. Yes, bingo. Bingo, you've won. Beach blanket bingo. Da-da-da-da. Beach blanket bingo. That's the name of the game. Okay. Now, Wendy LCM says, my decluttering journey didn't start as fun, but the amount of stress I have taken off myself by decluttering my house has been enormous. Yes. Yes, a wish list instead of a to-do list. Yeah, we're playing with it, a wish list. But no, wish to me, wish. Did somebody say wish? Sorry, I was doing my zombie. A wish feels like it's out of your control, that you're wishing for something and John B has to come and grant your wish. There's got to be something, and maybe this is something we can all work on, is what can we call that big list of stuff that is kind of the declutter list. Pick something from the list. I like to think of it is it's like a menu. It's like a buffet menu, right? It's a buffet menu list, and then you just check off what you like. You've gone to those restaurants where like they give you the thing, like go into a oyster bar. They give you a piece of paper, and you get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Okay, Mod Pugs. Beth, you are destinationing. Go, you and your hubby. I love it. Mod Pug's going to LA in 2 weeks to help oldest recover from surgery. I like short-term goals to get stuff squared away. Top of the list, get my still painful root canal tooth figured out. Yeah, because and everybody knows, and this is one of the things that I talk about a lot, but I want everybody to be remembered because I haven't said it today. Take care of your physical body and take care of your mental and kind of, energetic body. Because if you don't, everything else is going to be more difficult. Can you imagine the difference of trying to declutter when you've got a throbbing toothache because of a root canal? Imagine decluttering with no throbbing headache at all because of a root canal. Which one's going to be more enjoyable? Now, here's a fun thing too, thinking about that, is so yes, Mod Pugs, Kara, get your tooth figured out. Keep us informed what you did. What's something you can do today? Can you call your dentist and make an appointment? If they say, oh, we don't have one for 3 weeks, you got to be like, this is an emergency. Everybody, we have to learn to be our own patient advocate. We need to stand up for ourselves. And if they try to say, no, we can't see you, we need to start taking, we need to be insisting upon this. Okay. But what I was going to get into, did I already digress myself? Probably. Um, when you feel better, you do better. That's a thing. Um, I forget. I had something good. I was going to say it. The honey-do list. Yeah, you could. You just have to be your own honey. I love it. But notice the word do in a list is taking action. Now, here's a funny thing. Declutter is a verb. Put away is a verb. Donate is a verb. Chunk down is a verb. Wipe down is a verb. Sell is a verb. Are there a lot of verbs? A variety. There's going to be a variety of verbs on your list. Okay. Now, yeah, brain dump list. Yes, completely. I like to call that too. Just get it out of your head, dump it down onto paper. Dump it down onto paper. Okay. Now, Wendy is saying my extreme decluttering journey started October 22nd, 2024. So about not even just a few months ago. I have dropped 30 pounds since. Proud of my weight loss as much as the amount of abundance I have removed from my home. Now, look at that. Has anybody here ever tried to lose weight? Do you lose 10 pounds at a time? Do you go from weighing this way and then magically the next day is 10 pounds less? No. Weight loss and decluttering. Incremental. Incremental. Wendy didn't lose 30 pounds. Boom, wake up one day and she's 30 pounds less. All or nothing. No. October she started and little minute by minute by minute by minute I keep holding on. I keep holding on. I keep holding on. Chunking it down. Chunk it down. Listen to Michael McDonald. Listen to the Doobies. Okay? Chunk it down minute by minute. Step by step, if you're that of the era with the boy bands, right? Um, every breath I take, like everything we do is incremental. So use that organic way of doing things in the world to help you with your decluttering. Okay? All right. I love it. Kara is taking care of herself. She's getting 3D x-rays. Tuesday, they wanted me to wait a week, and you're like, nope, not having it. Yes, stand up for yourself. Yes. I'm creating a brain dump list now. Aha. There we go. Penny Myers. I love it. We can sing along with each other. Now, what was I going to say? I'm going to do a brain dump list myself. So, a couple of things that I want to help you with just in these last few minutes, thinking about what I'm going to do today to kind of model good behavior is first of all, I was away for a while. So, I'm out of the habit of doing the things that are in my house, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to chunk stuff down. This is funny, this is my list from the last day I had. So, I made a list for today of some of the big chunks, so I've got my coaching, I've got this YouTube live, we've got a thing tonight, but I've got a whole bunch of nothing um, on my page today. But I'm going to sit there after this. I'm going to say, okay, what are some things I know that I could do today that will make my home look better, function better, and feel better? Now, a lot of mine will be the following: will be unpacking, tired of packing and unpacking, putting my laundry in the washing machine, putting my suitcase down the basement. When I'm down the basement, I will probably remind my husband that we need to knock down those boxes. So, knocking down some boxes and putting them in the recycle bin. So, I will also be sitting down today with some quiet. I will quiet down my environment. I will sit down and I will write down. Notice the word down. Okay. Incrementally what you can do. And yes, please, everybody, congratulate Wendy on her weight loss and her decluttering, because it's very similar. Is deciding what you're going to do and deciding to do something different than you did in the past. Okay. And I love it. Ellen says I crossed some things off my list. That's the wonderful thing about a list. And now it's time to work out. I love it. I need to do some working out myself. Thank you for reminding me to put it on the list. Hope we all have a productive Thursday. Yay. Lori says I made it for a live, rating sideways and enjoying your face. Congratulations to Wendy. Yes. So I am on for like another 10 minutes. So Lori, if you need some help, put it in the comments that I can help you. But what I will offer all y'all is the power of getting your thoughts out of your head and onto paper. That is how you manifest shit, okay? And I don't mean poop, I mean good stuff. Writing down those things. I will tell you, and I'm not going to get into specifics because it would blow your mind, but I had an idea last summer. And I said to my husband today, because I'm now seeing the fruition of it. And I said to him, do you realize that the only reason this thing is happening in our lives right now is because last summer I had an idea in my head of something I thought would be pretty cool to happen. And I wrote it down. And incrementally, I started making that happen, taking the baby steps, doing the research, communicating with people, having conversations, having buy in, all this type of thing. So please use the two best muscles in your body, not your gluteus maximus. And I know your tongue is supposed to be an important muscle. What I say is your head and your heart, your mind and your body. You have an idea up here. Bing, it's in words. Ideas are words. How do those words make your body feel? If your ideas feel like, ooh, that could be fun. Ooh, notice when I say ooh, it's kind of like, ooh, feels kind of uplifting. Write those down. Also, maybe on the flip side, on the other page, write the things down that don't feel good. So you know to avoid those, to problem solve, to avoid that route. Okay. Um, so writing down, taking the time to make a plan, writing down even a plan, even just getting out some of those destinations. Like I think of destinations as places I want to travel. Do I have them all in order? No. But yesterday when I was on the plane and we were waiting in the lounge, I'm writing down where else would we like to go? What would we like to do? And I write them down and I put them somewhere where I can see them. Now I have a F ton of lists actually. I could show you. Could I show you here? Let me see. See this right here? See this? This is one of my Trello boards. Now this is my list. I've got stuff that's just a catch-all, but then I have one about books, make this fun stuff happen, travel, business, things to buy. So I chunk down my lists, but I start with the big list and then I chunk them down into a category that they belong in. So I highly recommend you experiment with that too. Experiment with these things. Don't just trust me. Try them out for yourself because when you find out they work for you, you will do them more than just because I said so, you know? Now, I love this. I'm backing up here. I'm going to read some things here. Yeah. Now, I love this. Mod Pug says, I almost forgot. Last time I was on a live, I needed to buy a new vac. Instead, I watched a few YouTube videos and fixed my Dyson. Yes. Yes. Just because you're decluttering doesn't mean everything goes in the garbage. If anything, how good does it feel? How clever and smart do you feel by fixing something that was broken and doing it yourself? I love it. Very cool. Barbara's making your a list in game form. I love it. Good stuff. Wendy is offering, I found I was stress eating and stress shopping. I have been celebrating myself for not running to online shopping when I have a rough day. I go out in my backyard and play frisbee with my pups instead. How fun does that sound? So good. Yay. There we go. Good stuff. I love it. Luann, isn't this interesting? Luann is saying, thank God, just did a procrastination item in 10 minutes. I put it off for a week. And during that week, I'm sure you were like, oh, I got to do it. I got to do it. I got to do it. And you kept on telling yourself, I got to do it. And you weren't doing it. And that tension of, I got to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's exhausting. Notice that when you actually sat down to do it, it took you all of 10 minutes. Now, many of us do procrastinate. And I will offer this. Okay. This is the time of year where many of us may be procrastinating on tax paperwork collection. Not doing your taxes, but even just the tax paperwork collection. Okay, so I suggest this because at this point, because today is what, the 13th of February? At this point, pretty much you should have most of the papers that have been sent to you in the mail, either to document how much money you made or how much money you donated or you have things like that. So I want to suggest, okay, this Saturday, the 15th, 12 noon until 1:30 p.m. Eastern, is the last February Zoom decluttering party. There will be some in March. I got to look at my calendar for that because I work around my own schedule to schedule those. But if you are famous for, if in the past, AKA last year and any years before, you have dragged your feet on getting your tax stuff together and you hate that dragging of the feet of it's hanging over you like the sword of Damocles, I highly recommend that this Saturday you show up, go to this party and get your use that time specifically just for the tax paperwork gathering and organizing. Because I will tell you, it does not take as long as you think you do. And when you get out of that party, you will feel so much better than you do having told yourself, I got to do it, 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 because you will have done it. And then you have 2 months right there to do your taxes and get them submitted. Now, if the taxing is not the thing that you're dragging your feet on, find something else that you know you would feel so much better if you just got it done. And use the time, use like the time boundary, use the money. I paid money for this party. I'm going to show up for myself. Use the camaraderie, use the problem solving, using me sitting there waiting to help you. I'm just offering to you that there are many ways you can motivate yourself to get something done. And sometimes hanging out with a bunch of people for an hour and a half and not feeling alone when you're doing it. Who knows? Maybe some of the people earlier today who were talking about decluttering with a kid, maybe you sign up for the decluttering party and they watch what we do and they feel like they're not all alone. You know, that many people have struggled with clutter, but they're doing something different about it. So if you're interested in that, you know where to look. It's the page, and it's pretty much, I think right now, just people on the mailing list hear it. But if not, if you just tuned in, my name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. I do YouTube lives quite often, and I have a website, destinationdecluttered.com. I do one-on-one coaching, and this weekend we're doing a decluttering party. And get on my mailing list to find out all about that at destinationdecluttered.com. Okay, so we got 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. Here's what I want to offer to you because I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to sign off and then I'm going to shift gears. And before I start jumping into an action, I'm going to say to myself, okay, how do I want to feel today? And I'm going to get back on the horse. The other thing is too, I'm going to do little things. This is my habit tracker. I had blocked out when we were away. And now I'm going to get back in the habit again. Yes, Penny Myers, the speakeasy page. I know. I should put that in quotes because I think that's fun. What are some little habits you can do today to make yourself feel better? Drink more water, get some exercise, eat something healthy, have some fun, get some stuff done. Now, I love this. Kat Roby is offering, and then I got to sign off because I want to be mindful of our time. Kat is saying, I have a project list broken down by room. Yes, chunking it down by room. A wonderful way to categorize getting stuff done and to make it feel more manageable. I have a project list broken down by room. I go clockwise as you enter each room, broken down by shelf or small project. Now I can think of it as a menu or a bingo project. Yeah, as opposed to a list of things to do. Notice different words make it feel different. List of things to do, not so much. How about a bingo card? How about a menu? And I get to choose what I do and when I do it. I don't have to do it top to bottom in order. Okay, there we go. Going to the dentist and going through my medical statements, almost as painful. Yeah, you know what? I don't know what your medical statements are. I save a lot of those. But notice why. Mod Pugs, ask yourself, why am I going through my medical statements? What am I looking for? What am I looking for? And write that down and focus on the reason you're doing that and how good it's going to feel when you find what you're looking for. Okay, there we go. Now, and this is fun too. Wendy is offering, and I love this. I love the creativity of this group. This is a really good one. Pop-Tart Mom, or excuse me, Laura. Okay, somebody said to put some easy things on your list. Everybody's saying good stuff, but Wendy is saying, oh, if you go clockwise, like a clock, maybe you could write your list in order of a clock, like, like a pie chart or something, where at like 6 o'clock, I'm envisioning 6 o'clock, and then you write the things in the order of which you're going around clockwise. And strangely, when I'm saying that, I'm going counterclockwise because I'm left handed. Go figure. But yes, clockwise is so smart. Maybe fun to write it like a clock so you can fill up the pie as you finish. So not only is it bingo, it's pie. And who doesn't love bingo and pie? Does that not sound like a party? Okay. So thank you so much for showing up today. I would love it if you put into practice, if you took some actions that were inspired by what we did today. And then tomorrow, when we do a YouTube Live, you can show up and share your wins. Okay. There we go. Okay, Wendy, pie. No thanks. I need to get down more pounds. How about this? A nice, healthy quiche. Okay. A nice, healthy quiche, or even a pita bread with some hummus on it or something. Okay. Wicked lot of funny. Now I still haven't, but I have found what I'm looking for. Right, Bono? We're just going to rewrite your song. Okay. So tomorrow there is a YouTube Live, and I look forward to hearing about the cool things you did, no matter how small. Every little bit helps. Look, it's on my mug, and you can read it face forward this time. Okay. Every little bit helps. Write down the little things. Have a great day. Okay. Painting of a duck. For some reason, I'm not getting your emails. Okay. After I sign off, send me a direct email at this address, beth@destinationdecluttered.com. Send me an email and let me know what email you signed up for. Then I can go into my email people and find out why you're not getting them. Okay. We can help with that. All right. I'm going to sign off. This has been wicked fun. I will see you guys tomorrow. And I don't know, just treat today like a road trip and not a commute. All right. Bye.